Today was Proverbs 7, and our key verse was, Coraline, what was our key verse?
Proverbs 7, 1 through 12. Not 1 through 2.
Who wants to read it?
I'll read it.
You can read the next verse. So can you get your Bible open to John?
John's short.
That's okay.
Okay. Follow my advice, son. Always treasure my commands. Obey my commands and live. Guard my instructions as you guard your own eyes.
Did anybody have something different?
I think so.
Hey, you're getting John.
The translation of that is in Hebrew, the pupil of your eye.
My son, keep my words and store up my commands within you. Keep my commands and you will live. Guard my teachings as the apple of your eye.
As the apple of your eye. So what did we learn by Toby's translation? That apple of the eye means?
Pupil.
The pupil of your eye. Where's the pupil in your eye?
The black dot.
The black dot, right? So in ancient Eastern times, they identified this as a sphere. They thought that black piece in your eye was a full sphere. So it was like an apple. And our eyes are vulnerable, right? If I come over and I poke you in the eye, it's going to hurt a lot. And then suddenly you can't what?
See.
You can't see, right? And you need sight to go forward.
Do they have white apples?
No.
It's not talking about your eyeball, the pupil.
It's talking about the black part in the very center of the color. Yeah, stop touching your eye. We're not going to do that. We're not going to introduce bacteria. But yeah, so that apple of the eye statement is a idiom of the ancient Eastern cultures. So they would say that often, the apple of your eye, that centerpiece, that vulnerable part. And our eyes are vulnerable because if they get hurt, they take away our sight. What did you guys think about the rest of Proverbs 7?
It was kind of confusing.
It was confusing? Okay. Anybody else have thoughts?
It felt like it was like telling a story rather than giving wisdom, like a personal experience,
It
rather
did
than
feel
like
like
knowledge.
it did feel like a computer story.
Okay. So, what was it? Was it 5? Yeah. Proverbs 5 also talked about an inappropriate relationship, right? And so 7, we see Solomon, who we think wrote Proverbs, is going back to talking about that. But there's more than just the sexual immorality part. Like, evil is seductive, right? It draws us in. It wants us to be tempted. It wants us to see it as shiny and pretty. Alright, what did you think?
I thought it was cool that even though it's hard to like talk about like wrong relationships, Solomon still goes back to it so we can understand the wrongness about it.
So if we keep going back to it, what does that tell us?
That it's important that we know.
That it's important. He's trying to drive it home, that repetition, right? Just like we repeat our multiplication facts, we repeat our spelling words and how to spell them. When we repeat it over and over, it does what?
We know.
It drives a hole.
It drives it. We know it. It cements it in our brain, right?
Like when I play the piano.
Yeah, when you practice, your hands learn to move that way, right? That muscle memory. When
Like
you're
we're
pulling
doing
your
typing.
bow back, it's going to be muscle memory, right? Now that you've been running for a while with Dad, that first mile is pretty much muscle memory. Your body knows how to do it. It doesn't hurt as much. You're not as sore after, right? It's because your body has learned. Repetition helps us learn. So obeying and keeping commands. So we're looking back at verses 1 and 2. And keeping commands and wisdom of your parents isn't something that comes naturally. Do you naturally want to be obedient?
No.
Not natural. Well, sometimes it depends on her.
Okay. That's a
Depends
fair
on the
answer.
attitude of the day.
Do you does it come naturally that you want to be obedient, or naturally that you want to do what you know you should?
Sometimes, like it depends on what I'm doing.
Okay.
Like school or playing my room.
That's
Okay.
what if it's something that I'm going to do.
It's something that I want to do.
When we have godly, wise parents, because we know some people don't, right? Some people don't have godly, wise parents. But when we do have godly, wise parents, their commands can literally be life to our souls. And we know Solomon was supposed to be the wisest person to ever live, right? Because he asked God for wisdom, and that's what God granted him.
He could have asked it for any.
Yeah. And so he's speaking to his children. He's writing these for them. It speaks about treasuring and keeping and following the commands of godly parents often. So your question today was, if you had a treasure worth $1 million, would you leave it out in the open or store it somewhere safe? And why?
I would store it somewhere safe.
Why?
Because it's mine and it can be valuable for something.
Okay. Toby?
It could be stolen. You don't keep it somewhere safe.
Form purpose.
I said I would store it somewhere safe so I can give it to people and use it for a good cause.
Okay, so you would want to store it safe. You would want to keep it so that it could be used in the right way. Yes? Okay, Aran?
I would keep it, I would not leave it out in the open.
Okay, we would put it away. We would keep it safe, right? Do you think you would just ignore it or let it get thrown away?
No.
Like maybe it would get shoved in the back of one of those drawers that you haven't cleaned out in a while? Just forgotten about?
No.
Do you think you would think about it regularly?
Yeah.
What about when you have money that you've earned from a job or from, from like your allowance, and we go to the store? Do you think about that money? Even if you don't bring it with you, do you still think about it?
No.
Yeah.
Sometimes, right?
Sometimes, but I forget about it.
You kind of think about, oh, how much money do I have in my wallet? Do I have enough that I could buy this maybe next time? Maybe I could tell Mom that I'll give her the money when we get home if she'll let me buy it now. Right? You're thinking about that treasure.
Yeah.
So what do you think it means to treasure your parents' commands?
To think about them.
Okay, to think about them.
To obey them immediately.
Okay.
To keep them safe.
Do you think that's what treasuring them means, to obey them obediently?
Probably not immediately, but to obey them.
Okay, to obey them. What'd you say, Toby?
To keep them safe.
What does it mean to keep your parents' commands safe?
Keep them in. Keep them with you. Yes.
Keep them
Like, so
stored
like
in
where
your
I
heart.
said, to be thinking about them.
In your heart, so that you can remember.
What do you think, Liz?
Hold them until you want to do it, but that would be a reason. To do it.
Okay, to do it, to treasure it is to do it, to act out of that. We talked a little bit about the apple of our eye and how that was the area in the eye that's vulnerable, right? Yeah. Please go ahead. Thank you. So the apple of our eye is about something very, very important. Not only is it valuable, but it's a treasure. We love our sight, right? We love being able to see. Life would be a lot different if we could not see, right?
Where's the stick?
So they're saying keep it as you would the apple of your eye. Do you protect your eyes?
Not normally.
When you're going out to shoot or you're gonna go play a game that could injure your eyes, what are you supposed to wear?
Goggles.
Eye protection. When you're doing science projects that could get stuff on your face, you're supposed to wear goggles. When you go swimming, so the chlorine doesn't get in your eyes, you wear goggles.
Cut onions.
Or
when you cut onions.
Or when
You
you're
wear
firefighting a
a
helmet with the glass piece over your eye.
Yeah, when Dad's firefighting, he has that glass piece that goes over his face in the helmet. We protect the things that are valuable. Our sight is valuable. So this verse is saying, keep my teaching as you would your eyes. Keep it close, keep it safe. And it doesn't mean you're writing it down and like putting it in a frame up on the wall. It means that you're keeping it in your heart, you're following it, you're remembering, you're thinking on it. When those times come up when temptation is in front of you. So let's look at the rest of 7. It talks about a youth, a young man who was simple. I don't know what y'all says.
Mine said
Mine
naive.
said simple.
Naive, okay, simple, naive. Someone who isn't necessarily foolish or dumb, but is inexperienced. He had not yet been taught wisdom, and he stumbled upon temptation.
Is it in the last one we just did?
When we read it is throughout 7. So I'm encompassing, it's not on your paper, baby. So he stumbles upon temptation. How might you stumble upon temptation? Corlin?
When you eat one cookie and then mom said, and then you say, go take a shower, no more cookies. And then I say, go cookie anyway.
Okay, so wait,
Take
that's
your cookie
falling
anyway.
into sin. That's not stumbling upon temptation. So let's rewind. You eat a cookie for dessert, and mom says, okay, it's time to go take a shower, no more treats. The temptation is, oh, but I just want one more, and they're right there, and mom isn't in here. So I could just eat it really quick. That's the temptation, right? So how do we, when we are presented with temptation, how do we combat that?
You can say, no more cookies, go take a shower.
We keep the words and we treasure the commandments. So what is the commandment here that we can fall onto?
No
Listen to your parents.
Say it louder.
Listen to your parents.
Honor your mother and father. Your mother gave you a response. She gave you a direct direction, right? And when we're honoring them, it means we're listening to their words. So it's not just about keeping mom and dad's commands, but it's about looking back and saying, oh, I'm supposed to honor my mother and father. That's what God calls me to do. And even if we want to jot over to the New Testament, where Jesus says the most important command is to love God. Well, obeying our parents is loving God, right? Loving others. Obeying our parents is loving others. It's loving our parents. So we see that being in obedience in that moment combats temptation. Yeah, I really want that other cookie, but I really want to show that I love God and my mom more, so I'm going to walk away. When you get advice or commands from mom and dad, what would it look like if you valued them as much as you value your sight? Elizabeth?
If your parent, wait, can you ask that one?
When you get advice or commands from mom and dad, what would it look like to show that you value them as much as your sight?
Like when you ask me to go clean my room, I clean it. And say, and sometimes do it more.
Okay. Coraline? What are you doing?
Keeping it safe.
What does that look like?
Like the cookie example. You say, go take a shower for bed. And I say, okay, Mom, I will go do that. And then I go take a shower.
What do you older kids think?
Yeah.
Toby?
Can you ask the question then?
When you get advice or commands from mom and dad, what would it look like if you valued them as much as your sight?
You use them?
What would it look like for you?
I don't know.
Okay.
Trust it and listen.
Okay. So I'm speaking especially to you guys in the area of advice, because while Coraline and Elizabeth are still in an area of mom and dad are going to tell you what to do so they can learn and experience when I do the right thing, this is what comes from it. You guys are progressing into this stage of life of choices, right? where you guys are going to be given advice, but we may not explicitly tell you, do this. You might say, well, you have to. So Tobias, like
Clean your
yesterday,
room.
when you decided to throw the Dunkachino cup, did I tell you, no, Tobias, go put it in the trash can? No, we explained the options, right? Like, you can throw it, but if you miss and it hits the ground, you now have the consequence of having to clean up the mess. And then I let you make the decision, right? And what happened?
I missed the trash can.
And thus had to do what?
Clean it up.
And thus had to clean it up. So you're learning firsthand experiences. I get to make choices, but my choices have consequences. Because that's the best way for you to learn. I can tell you all day, if you throw that, you're going to miss and you're going to make a mess. But until you experience it yourself, you never fully know, could I have made it? Maybe I could have.
I still think I could have made it.
And you know what? Next time, maybe you will. But you learned something because you did it yourself. So as you guys are becoming young men and young women, scratch that backwards, young men,
like, what?
young women, sorry. As you're developing, you're now coming into a place where you have to start trusting and walking out what we have taught you. We have spent 13 plus years telling you what to do, what is right and what is wrong. And now it's time for you guys to start practicing that. It's time for you to start evaluating and making choices. So we're moving from commands to more advice. So the question will be, will you take our advice? Will you heed the things that Dad and I and the other adults, trusted adults in your life, are going to speak into you? When we give you advice and we say, hey, this is how I would handle this situation. Or, hey, this is what the Bible says about dating, what it says about looking for a future spouse. This is what I would do if I was struggling in this area with my friend. Will you listen and take the advice, or will you go your own way? One thing we need to look at and realize is every time we walk close to temptation, we open ourselves up to an opportunity to fall into that sin. And once you fall into it once you take that cookie and realize you didn't get caught, next time it'll be twice as tempting. Because last time I didn't get caught, last time I got to have it. It'll happen like this again. And then the next time it'll be even more, until you fall into a place where it is super hard to get out of. Tobias, when you were responding immediately with lies, how hard was it to have to control your tongue and speak honestly in the beginning?
Barely.
It was really, really hard, right?
Yes, barely. Where's the dog?
Jeez. I'm just
Somewhere. Careful.
she's on the couch.
Oh, okay. It's very difficult.
So it was really, really difficult because you had gotten so used to just lying immediately for your self-preservation, to keep yourself from trouble. Araya, you're being very distracting. Please stop. It was really hard. Elizabeth, you were a baby, so you don't remember this. Toby had a really hard problem with wanting to lie right away because he didn't want to get in trouble. And there were even times where he would tell a lie and then within a few minutes he'd be like, I don't know why I said that. That wasn't true. And so we made a deal that if he could go 90 days, right?
Yeah,
90 days without telling any lies, he could get an extra day on the Switch, an extra play day.
But every time he lied, he had to start.
But every time he lied, he had to start over.
You had to start
His
over
90
twice.
days started back at the beginning. And we had to start over twice. But by the end of the 90 days, Toby, how easy was it to just tell the truth?
Very.
So our choices lead us to long-term consequences. When we lie often, it becomes natural and easy to lie, and really hard to acknowledge and be honest. But when Toby practiced intentionality and being honest, guess what? Over time, it became the easier thing. And he knew there was a reward in being honest and a consequence in being dishonest. I really don't want her up at the table. Down.
Chloe down. She's going. She
Toby.
has to go under the table.
I wonder what he likes.
Okay, so application. Do you ever get frustrated when mom and dad tell you to do something?
Yes.
Yes.
Like fold the clothes.
Especially if it's something you don't want to do?
Fold
Or maybe we tell you not to do something, like don't run through my kitchen, even though you really want to do it.
I wasn't even in here.
I was running from him because he was trying to catch me.
Hey, Eve, we're not blame transferring. So, fun fact, Dad and I don't just make up random rules. Often, we are going to tell you things for a reason. Why did I tell you to not run in here?
Because you could break something.
No. Why did I tell you not to run in here? What happened? Tell them. Why did I say it? What happened?
Because I could get hurt and then I got hurt.
Because you slipped and fell, right?
Onto the
Running in socks, you slipped and fell onto the cardboard box in the corner of the doorway.
Woo!
A couple inches over and it could have been her head smacking that corner. This tile is unforgiving.
And then Toby came in after.
Not to mention, you're knocking into the table and the things that are on the table. I was cooking. There's hot liquids and things going on in the kitchen. It's a dangerous area you should not be running in.
Start running and stopping.
I didn't see you guys having fun and deep inside said absolutely not. That must stop right now.
having fun.
There will be no fun here.
Fun is illegal.
You're not Mother Gothel.
But the consequences, if something happened, were too high for the benefit of what was happening. You guys can have fun without running. For the most part, your dad and I make rules, or we set rules, not because we want to be killers of fun, but because we want to protect you. Oftentimes, people don't want to follow Jesus because they say the Bible has too many rules. And they're not wrong. There are rules in the Bible. But can you think of any rule that you've ever read in the Bible that restricts and doesn't protect?
I don't think so.
No, you didn't get it done this morning.
I
So
forgot
now
to
you have
write.
write.
I forgot to copy down
No. Yes, God gives us rules, but those rules are not to take things away. Those rules are in place to protect. So, let's go back. Araya and I think Toby have heard this analogy. Let's think about our lives like a fire. There are rules to having there are safety fire rules, right?
I can't heard this.
Can you have a fire anywhere?
No.
No.
I mean, you
Fire.
could. It's just not
You
a smart
can,
choice.
right? Should you set a fire anywhere?
No. Actually, if you have a fireplace.
No, okay.
That's
That
not
is a
just
rule.
anywhere.
That is a boundary. Should you set a fire just anywhere?
No.
Like, can I go in the living room and just set a fire in the center of it?
You can.
I can, but what would happen?
You'd set the
You'd
couch on
set-
fire.
Other things would catch on fire and it could be devastating.
You can't just set.
So we place boundaries around the fire. It needs to be in the fire pit. It needs to be in a
Outside.
fireplace. It needs to be in a safe place that can contain the fire. And when it's in those safe places, it's beneficial, right? It gives us heat. We can make s'mores. It's fun to sit around with our friends. We sang worship songs around our fire. We enjoyed company.
We watch movies.
But you see what I'm saying? Inside its confinement, when we're at the Lathams and their fireplace is going, it keeps the room warm and toasty, right? It's fun to watch. It's entertaining. It helps us get rid of cardboard and papers and things that can be burnt. So when it's in the correct boundaries, when it's within the rules, it's safe and beneficial. When it's outside of it, it's chaotic and destructive. and can lead to death. So when we reframe our mind about the rules, we can see they're not taking away, they're actually providing us with the protection to better enjoy life and the benefits of that fire. Because the fire's not very enjoyable if it's outside and then you're burnt, right? If your things are destroyed, it's not so fun anymore.
No, it's not so fun. I like cardboard.
So the point is, the rules are there for protection, not restriction. But we have to choose how we view those rules. When we can choose to say, oh, mom is making everything so unfun. She's not letting me run. Or we can say, oh, you know what, mom is right. I don't want to fall and get hurt because that would really not make this fun anymore. How can we play in a way where we're going to mitigate risk? We're going to bring risk down a bit. Make sense?
Yeah.
Toby, will you pray for us today?
I'm sure. Dear God, thank you for this study. Thank you for the